Hi, this is your next video in our 101 series for buyers and sellers. This video is going to be focused a little bit more for the sellers, but if you are a buyer, I recommend listening to it as well because you can probably gain some insight into what sellers are considering as they are putting their homes on the market. So here we go. I'm going to start at the beginning. We are going to talk about disclosures today. Disclosures are maybe not the most fun topic, but they are one of the most important things that you can do right when you are selling a home. So just to take it back to the beginning, as a reminder, if you are selling a home, you are looking at 3 phases in front of you, 3 stages. The first stage at the beginning is market preparation. This is when we are making decisions about how to prepare your home for the market. Oftentimes you think about that as what paint colors do I choose? Do I stage? What landscaping choices do I make? This is also the time period when we are tackling your disclosures. I'll get back to that in a moment. The second phase being you're on the market is called the marketing period. In our market, it's typically a 2-week period. And once you have taken offers and accepted an offer, you're in escrow. That is the third phase. That escrow period could range anywhere from about 7 days if it's a cash offer to 3 or 4 weeks if it's a lender. So we're going to focus on disclosures, which actually has a tie-in for all 3 of those phases. So what are disclosures? Disclosures are a statutory obligation for all sellers to disclose what they know about what their experience is living in the property. It's anything that they observed as broken and fixed. It's anything that has been a persistent issue. It's even things that you may not think are a disclosure. For instance, do turkeys walk through the backyard on a somewhat regular basis? That's a disclosure. Is parking really difficult on your street? That's a disclosure. So anything that might have a material impact on the current value or experience of living in your home or a future value that you are aware of. Now, the disclosure packet is a compilation of a lot of different kinds of disclosures. There are seller disclosures, which are obviously what the seller is going to generate as a part of the process. We will help with that as your agents. There's also additional disclosures like home inspection reports, pest inspections, any other kinds of inspections that would give a buyer more context as to what's happening with the house. We even consider natural hazards reports as part of the disclosures because the buyer would need to know, is the home in a seismically active area or in a high fire zone? So now that you know what disclosures are, why do we do disclosures? Besides the fact that they are a legal obligation, they are the right thing to do, right? You don't want, as a seller, to have a buyer enter into your home and not be aware of something that they should have known. It is really the right thing to do to be transparent and thorough into your disclosures. Transparent and thorough disclosures actually end up protecting you in the end. So protecting you and getting through a smooth escrow process and selling your home quickly and smoothly are the other 2 reasons. So it's a statutory obligation, they protect you, and it's going to help you get through escrow more smoothly. Why? So thorough disclosures protect you because if you are complete and thorough in your disclosure process, you don't open yourself up to liability. Someone later on down the line can't come back and say, you know what, I bought this house, but you didn't tell me that the basement floods every single time it rains. And because you withheld that information and it was reasonable for you to know that, I'm going to actually sue you for that. And there could be damages, right? So they protect you because if you get an offer in that's non-contingent, not contingent on an inspection contingency, or even if you get an offer with a bajillion contingencies but the house closes and suddenly you are no longer the owner of the home, a future owner could come back potentially and say, wait a second, you should have told me these things. There was an obligation to do so. You didn't do so. There's a lawsuit. So by being thorough, you basically protect yourself from lawsuits and other kinds of liability. The last piece is a little more complicated to explain. So in our market, we have a pretty good track record of at this point of having non-contingent offers. A non-contingent offer means that you don't have an inspection contingency among the other contingencies, which we will talk about another time. So from a seller's perspective, this is the most advantageous offer you can get because it's a sure thing. You're not going to enter into contract and then end up negotiating because the buyer discovered something that they didn't like and they still want to buy the house, but they're going to negotiate with you on the price. The only way that you can reasonably expect a non-contingent offer is if you provide a very thorough report. Now, there are times when the home inspector goes through or the pest inspector goes through and says, I noticed these things and I think you need to have additional reports to provide additional insurance to the buyer so that they they know what's up with the house. Even if there are additional reports that are needed and the buyer needs more information and the information is not terribly favorable, what if that home inspector was right and there actually is an issue? The unknown is so scary to a buyer that they will walk away from a house if they know that something is not disclosed and also not thoroughly inspected. So it is our recommendation that if there is an unknown, put a number to it, put a bid to it, put some context on it so that the buyer has more confidence moving forward with their offer and they will be able to offer a non-contingent offer for your home. So in conclusion, real quick, disclosures are super important. We will coach you through them. You complete them at the very beginning of the process, but they have implications and importance through the whole thing. And I'm sure I've forgotten something, but if you have any questions, please hit me up. We will explain everything. Have a great one. Take care.